Okay, I guess let's start with some right-wing cope. I don't know how they've been doing lately, but let's take a look. Osama bin Laden was more badass than the American left, because at least he managed to attack something he hated, unlike the pussy left running away from cops while shouting F12 or a good cop is a dead cop. Grow a pair of nuts and attack what you don't like me. I attacked my ex-best friend because of how he was treating me. I didn't beat his ass till he threatened me, but still same concept, attack what you don't like. Republicans stormed the Capitol because they didn't like the outcome of the election. The left stormed Wisconsin's Capitol in 2011, a decade ago now. They're just so out of their mind, it's funny. Wow. That's a comment that's outright just telling people to commit violent acts. Who thinks like this? Matt Walsh, theocratic fascist. Lovely. Oh god, it's a Minions meme that says, me when a vaxxed child has a seizure. Oh. Why did Minions become such a Facebook mom meme? It has been reported that paper stimulus checks are not being signed by the fake POTUS, but the real one. If anyone gets one, will you take a pic and share? Just the signature. US patriots, or maybe it's us patriots, are patiently waiting for the end of this movie. And it's like a lady sitting there, but she's in a Wonder Woman outfit for some reason. Nick says, looks like Psychopath Monday has started. Welcome to the US, where we pretend problems are created by one man and ignore that both parties have been failing us for decades. And then the same person posts, when did America stop being great? When they elected this man twice. Don't you love when memes come with the little square that's like, this meme was made by such and such. Come join our terrible Facebook meme page. Ready to enter stores where it's posted masks required to shop in this store. And then it's someone who turned a bologna container into a face mask. Not really turned into. They basically just stuck a empty bologna container on their mask. That's fine. If you want to wear that, that's cool, as long as you're also wearing a mask. Please own the libs by wearing that extra layer of protection over your mask. We'll be so owned. RTK142 says, I vaguely recall the Wisconsin thing, and if I remember right, it was absolutely nothing like the insurrection. Also, the Wonder Woman thing is a costume for her avatar. Dr. White says, funny thing is that if you look at some of the shit that was found in Osama's Pakistan compound, you'll find that he never even believed any of the religious dogma he spewed. It was nothing more than a means to make money for him. Didn't he have a bunch of anime on the computer, too, or something? Rudy Giuliani tried to have the Borat crew arrested. Liberty Hangout, who I can't see their tweets on their own because they banned me, or blocked me. So much for freedom of speech. No, I don't know, I said some shit to them. Anyway, stop unfollowing us. I'll follow, just unblock me. When someone praises socialism, that owl is, in fact, orgasming, according to this person. Okay, right on. Daddy Sume says, he had the hentai Bible Black on his computer. Nice. If you spend any of your hashtag stimulus check, you're a fan of socialism. If you're not a fan of socialism, please donate your check to a worthy cause or some family in need. I assume that's a tongue-in-cheek by someone who's not a right-winger. Keep America great. Deposit your Biden-Harris ballots here, and it's a turlet. Communism. Ideas so good they have to be mandatory. And this libertarian meme page is claiming that this is a picture of communists in, I think, Vietnam. Could be Korea. I don't know. Locking people up, and then someone points out, no, it's capitalist soldiers watching over suspected communists. Nick says, Osama bin Laden was an Arsenal fan, so as an Arsenal fan, feels sad, man.
Like, inner city crime is a cultural problem, basically.
Well, in some ways he's right, and in some ways that is so simplifying a super complex issue. And you're also dealing with a system that literally evolved out of slavery. So you have a lot of these communities that have never recovered from slavery. They went from slavery in the 1800s to the Jim Crow era to the Civil Rights era, and still in many places, whether it's Baltimore or whether it's Detroit or South Side of Chicago, you have these
Imperial News. Thanks for following.
In terms of like constant crime, constant violence, decade after decade after decade with no intervention. There's no, think about what we did. And this is one of the things that kind of drove me crazy in the beginning of the coronavirus pandemic, where they decided that they needed to spend trillions of dollars to relieve businesses because these businesses had lost a lot of money during the pandemic, and to relieve them. But what about these really super impoverished communities that have been fucked forever? Like, the idea that these people growing up in these communities that are filled with gangs and violence, that they have the same shot as someone who's growing up in the suburbs of Massachusetts. Like, that's nonsense. That's crazy.
Is Joe Rogan actually being right here for once? This is amazing. I only ever hear him talking about DMT or telling Jordan Peterson, just letting Jordan Peterson go on tirades.
It's a crazy thought. And there's no emphasis at all in terms of like a national dialogue of like, look, this is our number one problem. Too many people are fucked from birth. Too many people are literally, they're born into horrible environments where you have a very slim chance of ever overcoming all the influences of your environment and the people around you to get out. And the idea that you're just going to figure this out on your own is crazy. Yeah. So few people do. You look at the numbers of people that do figure it out, whether they're athletes or entertainers or whoever makes it out of the hood. Like, the idea that you should be able to just figure it out. Like, that's fucking crazy. It's crazy. Well, this is the argument that I always had about this whole idea of making America great again. It sounds great to make America great. Why would that be bad? Well, here's how you make America great. Less losers. How do you have less losers? You got to fix these places. You got to put massive resources and emphasis into figuring out how you fix these crime-ridden, impoverished communities. Until we do that, blaming them the same way you would blame someone who grows up in a two-parent household where everyone's loving and caring, it's a totally different world, totally different programming, totally different environment.
Yeah, and of course we have laws that are explicitly designed to oppress certain people.
Sure, like the crack sentencing.
Yeah.
Accidentally based Joe Rogan. I wonder how his audience felt about that. In my experience, his audience tends to lean a little further right, if not at least centrist dude bros, so I kind of wonder how that take went over with them, but whatever. RTK142 says, okay, ouch, that one hurt. I hope he didn't also like Rangers FC. Daddy Sume links a Know Your Meme page about the Bin Laden thing. Shi Hakujin says, Rogan can be pretty based, he just doesn't vet guests as well as he should. Yeah, sure. Bin Laden's Files. Bin Laden's Files refers to documents taken from the computer of late terrorist and orchestrator behind the September 11th, 2001 attacks, Osama bin Laden. On November 1st, 2017, the CIA released the files taken from bin Laden's compound in Abbottabad, Pakistan, leading to intense internet scrutiny as internet users discovered banal and quotidian? Quotidian. Ooh, there's a word I don't recognize. Hold on. Quotidian, ordinary, everyday, especially when mundane. Quotidian, or of occurring everyday, daily. Interesting. Quotidian. Including memes, movies, and video games. I just want to see what there actually are. The CIA withheld sensitive materials found in the computer such as pornography and malware, as well as family films, including Cars, Chicken Little, etc. As of the morning of November 2nd, the site hosting the list of files is down with a technical issue and redirects to the CIA's homepage. While political sites such as CNN focused on the political materials found in the release, several websites such as Al Jazeera, Time and The Guardian and many more covered the release found fascination with the less political, more entertaining files in the release. Wired noted that in addition to the political files one might expect from bin Laden, the files also contained, quote, hallmarks of any person who uses the internet, including a copy of Final Fantasy VII and a download of viral video Charlie Bit My Finger. However, it's unclear if these files were used by bin Laden himself or members of his family or others at the compound. Tucker White says, so bin Laden was basically a 13-year-old troll. That makes too much sense. Interesting stuff. China and Russia think we are in a weakened state. Gas prices are rising. Jobs have been lost. The border is in crisis. A million expected to arrive undocumented. I like that they put the 0.00 as if we were going to get like 0.5 of a person or something, that we need the decimal places. I think they just wanted to put more zeros in that number to make it scary. So they just put it to the decimal place, even though it doesn't make sense to. Expected to arrive undocumented, not tested for disease and COVID. Thousands of young children sent here alone. The president doesn't talk about any of this. Hope you're happy with a president who's unfit to run a country. Oh, and taxes will be soaring. Also, great job, Mr. President. Mike Max 321 says, didn't they ban the sale of PlayStation in the middle out of fear terrorists will use the technology? I assume you're saying ban sale of the PlayStation in the Middle East? I have no idea. I've never heard of that. Angel Lost in Space, thanks for subscribing with 2 months. Says it's been a fun 2 months. Thanks for all the laughs, Hannah. Of course. $500,000 in a nation of 7.7 billion. Does he think the population of the Earth is the same as the population of America? I think the U.S. population is like 320 million or something. 328 million.
I am part of the audit team where I'm at. And we are also working with Patriots in New Hampshire to get their audits done, and in Pennsylvania and in Georgia and in Michigan, okay? We want a constitutional crisis, okay? Let me explain what I mean. We want to get to a point where we have these audits done in these respective states. And when the information comes out to be just like Antrim County, now we can then catapult that into another state, and then another state, and another state, and another state. And the next thing you know, we are now in a constitutional crisis. What happens then? Well, you know, you could do a writ of quo warranto, which actually allows people to be removed post-election if there has been, you know, irregularities, we'll call it. I don't want to get too far into the weeds because I don't want to get you in trouble. But just understand that come hell or high water, we are going to get these audits done. We will never quit. We will never comply. We will never stop. We will get these audits done.
Oh, there's so many scary people in the U.S. It's concerning.
If you go into the jail cell, then make sure it's for the Word of God and for the testimony of Jesus Christ, right? I'll bail you out if you go to jail.
What's Henry Winkler doing to that Chud? With that Chud?
Babies, right? I'll bail you out if you walk up into a library that's having drag queen story hour and tell them parents they have lost their mind for letting their boys and girls be exposed to them bunch of pedophiles and that bunch of wicked, degradable nonsense. Hey, I'll bail you out of jail for that. If you go...
Lovely.
Has happened. I believe the answer is demonism.
Demons are behind being trans. Good to know. Ooh, what do you think my demon's name is that makes me trans? I'd like to get to know them.
I believe it's satanic. I believe we're watching a global event take place that the Bible warned us about all along. And Satan traffics in the world of confusion. And if he can get
Estrogen pills are the mark of the beast. Change my mind.
someone confused in this area, he robs them of their God-given gender.
My demon's name is Larry. Good to know. Hope you're doing well, Larry, wherever you are. The Ender 92 says Taps might clear his throat. Remove tax exemptions from churches. Tucker White says, today I learned pedophilia is when a dude in drag reads to kids. Querulous Artisan with 100 bits says, the demon that makes me non-binary needs to start paying rent and doing some of the chores. Antipodian Squid says, maybe your demon is secretly Alumina and she comes out to feed on conspiracy energy. That makes the most sense. Profane Priestess says, do I also get a demon for being gender fluid? I'd say so. MMO Addicted says, your demon's name is Horeen Ledid. Okay. Phoenix Vengeance, thanks for subscribing with a 10-month streak, says double digits, baby.
Because he made that person a male or a female for a purpose to bring him glory. If Satan can get them confused there, young, early, notice Satan always goes after the young. Then if he can't kill him in the womb, he'll kill him in the head.
They always call it confusion, too, which I always find interesting, because they picked up on one specific thing that gets talked about by, like, trans people or gender non-conforming people, whatever you happen to be doing. And they'll use the term confusion a lot. That also got thrown a lot around in decades past when talking about, like, gay people or lesbians or bisexual people, like, oh, you're confused. No. Let me explain. Excuse me. Confusion for people like me didn't come out of being trans, right? Being trans in and of itself isn't confusing once you understand it. I'm not confused currently now that I'm out and I know what I'm doing. I was confused when I was a kid before I understood what being trans was, and knowing that I was uncomfortable with my body and my identity and not knowing how to articulate that correctly. So it wasn't until I learned about being trans, until I learned about, hey, this is a thing that happens and people choose to live their lives in a way that makes them feel more comfortable. And then I was no longer confused. I was in denial for quite a while about it. But, like, I'm not confused. I was confused when I was not given the words and understanding of what I was going through. These people are sowing confusion to trans kids, to gay kids, to bi kids, lesbians, whatever, non-binary people, by trying to deny them the explanation for what they're feeling and that they're not alone. Overthought, thanks for subscribing.
And confuse them. I believe we're watching a global demonic sway of the wicked one upon our culture in the world. And that sounds harsh, but I'm sorry, it's true. It's just true. Something has happened. I believe the answer is
how concerns about weaponized consoles almost sunk the PS2, so it did get banned in the Middle East or something. Very strange.
I am not going to put any kind of spin on it. The policies that are coming out of this administration are literally from the pit of hell. I believe America is in serious trouble. We are literally shaking our fist in the face of God and challenging God. If you're really God, you do something.
yes.
And He is God, and He will do something.
Right.
And that's why I believe it is incumbent upon the church, followers of Jesus Christ, to cry out for God's mercy and a move of His Spirit like we've never seen before in this nation. These are challenging.
Homosexuality is the extreme form of rebellion against God.
We're so radical, Baha. Ender92 says, God sure is a shitty, all-powerful being letting one of his shitty, petulant children sway most of the population. Yeah. Do these people understand that their, like, version of God sounds really pathetic? Tucker White says, oh my god, it's just the same America as becoming wicked nonsense that I heard as a kid, and I'm 26 now. Yeah. I mixed one of Nick's things, sorry. Nick says, they only say trans people are confused because they can't comprehend someone being trans, and thus they're confused. The projection is strong with them. That's a fair point.
It's in the list of Leviticus 18. It's verse 22.
Yeah, there's a lot of things in Leviticus. Where's my Bible? I'll just Google it. Leviticus is tons of laws. 18 is just unlawful sex relations. So let's talk about what's unlawful sex relations in the Old Testament. No one is to approach any close relative to have sexual relations. Do not dishonor your father by having sexual relations with your mother. Do not have sexual relations with your father's wife. Do not have sexual relations with your sister, or your father's daughter, or your mother's daughter. Do not have sexual relations with your son's daughter, or your daughter's daughter. Do not have sexual relations with the daughter of your father's wife. Do not have sexual relations with your father's sister. Do not have sexual relations with your mother's sister. Do not, oh God, have sex with your brother's wife. Don't have sexual relations with your daughter-in-law. Don't have sexual relations with your brother's wife. Don't have sexual relations with both a woman and her daughter. Do not take your wife's sister as a rival wife and have sexual relations with her. Do not approach a woman to have sexual relations with her during her uncleanliness of her monthly period. So, for the record, the whole, like, don't be gay thing that he's saying is so evil is literally in the same exact chapter and put on the same level of seriousness as a commandment telling you if you sleep with a woman while she's on her period, you're going to hell. Not hell, because this is the Old Testament, and it doesn't really talk about hell, because they didn't have a concept of hell the same way Christianity does, but... Logard says, boring. Come on, gotta live a little. What's with all the rules? Antipodian Squid says, no shrimping, Leviticus. What else? Don't have sex with your neighbor's wife. Don't give any of your children to be sacrificed to Molech, which was a contemporary god that was worshipped by some of the other people in the area that did child sacrifice. Here's the one he's talking about. Do not have sexual relations with a man as one does with a woman. Interesting that nothing talks about women with women, though, so that's cool. Lesbians, you're good. You're not going to hell. Do not have sexual relations with an animal and defile yourself with it. Interestingly, there's another verse that says, in the case of someone sleeping with an animal, both that person and the animal need to be put to death. And it's like, damn, that animal didn't know what was going on. You don't gotta kill him. You get it. It's a section for what the Israelites considered sexual immorality, which is irrelevant to me because I'm not an Israelite from literal millennia ago. It's just not relevant to my life in any way, shape, or form.
Families. They are one of the most famous and wealthiest families who have taken the world by storm. They're worshipped throughout Western pop culture by millions. But underneath all the glitter and glam of their celebrity stardom, hidden away by the lavish jewelry and riches, lie many ugly truths that this family would wish we would all forget about. It's not just their disastrous personalities that are killing Western culture and their merciless abuse and their kingdom of selfdom. Simply plain evil Kabbalah wizards. And they just emanate evil. And these clone-like witch zombies are all morphing into the same person.
I'm not a fan of the Kardashians either, but that's certainly a take on them. Demonic witches. Actually kind of makes me like them more. I didn't like them very much at all, so...
Somebody tries to tell you that prostitution is a victimless crime, remember this. Prostitution is not a victimless crime. If the guy's married, his wife is going to suffer in many ways.
What if he's not married, or what if he's in an open marriage and his wife is totally fine with him? What would the word be? Soliciting a sex worker? Engaging with a sex worker? I don't know how you would say it.
Yeah, a whole host of ways, can't even begin to count. But in this case, the people that suffered were the prostitutes themselves. They're now dead. So their families have lost somebody they loved and cared for. Prostitution, ladies and gentlemen, pornography.
Oh my god. The context makes it even worse. I didn't read the caption. He's talking about the shooting in Atlanta. Good fucking god.
Pornography is not, I repeat, not a victimless crime.
He's blaming porn and sex workers for a mass shooting done by a right-wing... What do I want to call him? You know who I'm talking about. Nick says, Western culture, bark, 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 bark. Logarth says, wait, the Kardashians aren't demonic hell witches bent on doing the work of Satan? Unfortunately, no. Stone Corbell says, this is Brian Fisher, the guy that wrote a book about how Nazi Germany were run by homosexuals. There's no low to which he won't sink. Jesus Christ.
I'm your pandemic!
Yeah, we've watched that one before. Okay. So that's right-wing cope and right-wing watch stuff for the day. Interesting. We're going to have an absolute... It came out today that Trump is apparently going to be starting his own social media website, like a Twitter clone or a Parler clone or something. In actuality, you know, it'll be something made by some other company that he'll slap his name on and go join, I'm sure. It'll get followers. But the amount of brand new right-wing cope we're going to get from that website is going to be pretty astronomical. So I'm kind of looking forward to it. Not looking forward to Trump having a platform again, though. Not great. So let's move on.